Alright guys, you actually made it to the last episode, which is number 5 of this Toolkit Panel Maker video series. There will be more videos later about specific things, such as import, export, how to share panels with other Toolkit users, and what you need to include. There's also a lot of commands in the advanced settings that uses written commands, and a lot of the scripts that we use for the toolkit and the toolkit workflow, they have parameters that you can supply. I'll show it really quick, but this is just to cover the overview of the functionality. So let's get started. To turn on advanced properties, you do settings, and I already had it on, so let's turn it off. After you clicked on settings, then you go to the options, and then you click on advanced properties to activate it. I had it on because I prepared a little bit, so this won't take all night. It's already getting late for me. Okay. So now with the advanced options for like when I activate an element, there's a lot of new stuff that shows up. And the first thing that's pretty easy to understand actually is the tooltip. So if I want to have a tooltip for this one, I could add it here and save. If I go to Photoshop and load, then if I hover over this, it will say a very nice tooltip. Unfortunately though, this only works on Windows currently. I'm waiting to see what happens with Adobe because they're changing a few things, and otherwise I will implement my own version for Macintosh. So if you're watching this video and you're using a panel maker that's a higher version number than 3.5, then it's very likely that it also works on Macintosh. Sorry. Okay, so for the toggle button, there's a new thing in advanced settings for toggle button. That is, you can set the start state. So by default, we go back and look again, it's off. So when I click it, it will fire the on event, and the on event is same as left click. Since I haven't set it here yet, I think, let me see. No, it will say there's no left click because left click means on, but there is actually no right and left click on the toggle buttons. As you can see here on the labels, it says left click or toggle on, or right click or toggle off. Okay. So if I want to have it on by default, I just do checked, save, back to Photoshop, and just load layout. It's going to look the same because I had it activated. Let's do again, load, and it's on by default. Then the next thing I want to show that has to do with advanced properties is if you have a button toggle stack that I showed before, then on the first button here, I've set it to checked, which means it's gonna be on. And then I've manually entered commands here just so we can see what's happening. And the command type I entered is information, which is just an alert. But you could have this fire scripts and scripts with arguments that turn things on and off. And when you have them in a toggle stack, it adds a pretty cool functionality, which is when you toggle to on, I add an information to the on event. But here's the interesting thing. Since it's part of a toggle group, it will fire the off events for the one that was deactivated. So you can see now I get toggle off. So you could have this run 2 scripts or 2 actions or whatever you want. So if you have maybe you want to change sizes or zoom or tools, something, and you want to do something when they turn off a tool or when they turn off a feature, then you can add a right click to it, because the right click is gonna fire, and again right click is same as off. Just remember this. Hope I didn't confuse too much. The switch is really the same as a toggle button. The reason I didn't show it before is that it makes more sense with the advanced settings. So first off, you can have 2 labels on it. So enabled, or it could say Adobe RGB and sRGB or whatever. Like you can toggle and then do stuff. Okay, and I'm gonna say I want it checked by default, which is same as enabled. I'm gonna give it a color. I'm gonna save it. Go and see here. Load. And here we have it. And what happens now, it's gonna give me alerts that I don't have any events for it, but you can see what happens to the button. Yes. If you have my luminosity panel, you'll see I'm using this for toggling help layers on and off and to show before and after. And also here I have it to add dithering or not add dithering depending on this setting. So there's a lot of things you can do. And there's no special logic to the layout here beside this element, and I already explained why. So you can do everything that I do with my panels, which is one of the intentions when I created the panel maker, is to make sure that you can do the same things that I do in my panels, aside from the very specific UI elements. So this one is just the blend diff sliders. Okay, let's do another one, accordion. So if we look here, it's closed, right? Close, open, close. But if I change to, if I select it and I say that checked is the default state of this accordion, and then reload and go here, it's going to be open by default. Yes. Just use a button. Tag, visibility, and command type tag I will explain in a different video because they are all tied together. They are used to either hide and show things or to toggle things. So for example, you could have 3-4 accordions in the same panel, and then through the commands it can make sure that only one is open at the same time. So when you open one, the other ones close and such. Pretty neat feature, but it's not for this video. It will take more explaining. And then we have some layout options. Besides the groups. So groups are more for dividing whatever is left into half, where the new thing here with advanced options is that you can set double or triple size on buttons and on groups. So for example, let's drag in a button group here, and then we drag in 2 buttons. Let's say we want this button to be double the size, and now it's double the size of this button. Or maybe even triple the size. So you can create some pretty cool layouts, and you can even do it on groups. So if I have a group that has a group, and I want this group to be double the size, and then I place a button to the left of that group. Now we're getting a little bit advanced, sorry, but try and follow along. And I put this here, and I put this here. Now it's just as before, but if I add another button now, these 3 buttons share the size. So again, maybe not the best example, but I think you can get the idea. Like you can make both buttons and groups take up more space. And an example of that actually is the luminosity panel again. So these zones that I created here are made using these properties. So as you can see, these 2 are just the same size, but the midtones here is bigger than these 2. It's actually double the size. And the same on these here, darks 2 and lights 2. Those are double the size of this one. So it's a nice way to be able to organize a little bit of a layout. Yes. So about advanced options. So see if I have. Yes. So here's an example of an advanced use of the panel command. So certain panels, such as Toolkit Luminosity, has built-in features to the panel. So they have command type panel command, like this. And it says remove blend if. And the right click of the same button says current as option. So it tells it to remove the blend if, but not both of them, because you know there's one blend if for underlying layer and one blend if for this layer. So when I do this advanced option here and say current, it's only gonna take it away from the current mode. Yes. Don't want to confuse. I think I'm already having a few of you scratch your heads and be like, why would I ever use this? And for most cases you won't, but it's nice to have there if you have a very specific thing you want to do, and then you can refer to this video, or you can join our Facebook group and ask, hey, could I make this layout, or how could I do this? And either I can respond, or someone else can respond, or we can make another video to add to this playlist about the panel maker. I also intend to keep this quite up to date and add new features. So let me know if there's anything else you want me to go through. It will be very specific things though, like how would I do this, stuff like that. One thing we didn't mention that I think is a little bit self-explanatory though, is the ability to import and export. If I want to export, I choose what panels, and then that gets saved to a file on the hard drive that you could share with other people. And the advanced version of this is that you can actually package that into include actions and other stuff. So people can import from file a whole package of settings with brushes, actions, and everything, and they get your panel. That's also something that you should do a separate video on. Yes. Thank you for sticking with me for this long. I did not expect each video to be this long, but it's a big tool. And I think the chunks are not too long. They're long, but not too long. One more thing, and the last thing. If you would like to be notified when we drop new videos, because I intend to do this as often as I possibly have time. Because I want to see more panels that you guys create. So I feel I need to help you a bit more than I have been in the past. But if you want to get updated when there's new videos, we are gonna push all of these series on YouTube. So if you go to our YouTube channel, and this video you're watching now is most likely already on YouTube. So if you just go to click on subscribe, and then after you've done that, next to subscribe or in the vicinity, there's a bell icon. And then if you click on that and say that you want to get notified, you actually get an alert when there's new videos out from us. And it also helps us when we do free educational videos that are not specific to commercial tools. So please do that, and I'll talk to you all later. Thank you very much. Bye.